All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is what, March 4th, 2024, doing some TurboTax help, and I'm going to start this stream off today. Let's see here. Answering some of the comments or questions I've got through the comments sections of like various YouTube videos that I've had here. A lot of them have to do with TurboTax, some of them not as much, but nonetheless, if you do have questions in regards to TurboTax and you want to throw them in the chat box while I'm going over this, feel free to, and I'll get to that, if I can within the hour here. And if not, I'll try and answer it during the week or maybe on next week's live stream. Without further ado, let's get into this. Let's take a look at some of the comments that I have here. Screenshot. Oh my gosh, let's see here. What do we have? Okay, I'm going to start down here with some of these people that I already told them that I would answer their questions during the live stream. Here we go. Let's do this. What did I do? I'll be going over. Let's see here. Okay, this is where I started here. All right, so let's start with this one here. Hi, Anthony. I have a question. I got an RSU that were taxed on W-2 for an amount of $3,700. However, on the 1099-B supplemental, it only shows, oh, whoops, what did I just do? Whoops, too much here. Come on. There we go. It only shows $2,500 of ordinary income. So there's a discrepancy between the W-2 and what's reported on the 1099. Got it. I was able to make the adjustment on the 1099 based on the supplemental. What should I do? The difference, if there is more RSUs listed on 1099B, that matches the difference. Wait, what? If there are no more. Got it. So essentially, in this case, there is more on a W-2 than on the 1099. Got it. Like $1,000, $1,200 for what we see here. Potentially the reason is because you earned the RSUs and you didn't actually sell them all, because the 1099 is what was sold versus the W-2 is what was earned. So yeah, what'll essentially happen is now you still have more in the bank for stocks that you haven't sold that will get accounted for whenever you do sell those. So it's not that you lose that basis that was paid for in the W-2, it just will get accounted for in that supplemental information when you go to sell those stocks that are still in the bank, essentially, is what's going on here. So you didn't sell all the RSUs that you earned. That's what's going on here. That's why there's the difference. That's my guess. I'd have to really take a look at your bank statements to see what is going on here, but that's what it sounds like. All right, let's keep going here. Contributed to my 2023 Roth via Backdoor in January this year and will be contributed again for 24. Realize now this is the late Backdoor Roth. I know, I go through this all the time. I just went through this. I just had an appointment right now. We went through this. And it's easier to contribute the same tax year. It is easier. It's easier to kind of track. But this is still something that we can do. Will I follow the same steps next year and just enter this? Yes, that's exactly what you're going to do. So what happens here is that we contributed in a different year that we converted is what's going on. And it doesn't matter because there's a form, the 8606, that tracks your basis or those contributions to that Roth, to that traditional IRA that is non-deductible. So yes, you're gonna follow the steps that I do outline in TurboTax. We just wanna make sure that the form 8606 is carrying over that basis. I can kind of go over this. You know what? Let's try and log into TurboTax here. Give me a second. Let me get out of my screen share to make sure that I am showing the proper thing here. Here we go. Let's log into TurboTax. Whoops, wrong one. Here we go. Switch to a different account. Log in. And I'll go over, I'll show you exactly what we want to be on the lookout for next year to make sure that the 1099 that you get on the different year that you actually do the conversion than you did the contribution will get accounted for properly. But this happens all the time. I do this with clients all the time. So no big deal here. Okay, sorry. Let me log into TurboTax. And again, if you have any questions While I'm going over this, feel free to leave it in the comment section in the chat box there. I'll try and address those as well. 590. Here we go. Taxes. Okay, let me share the screen yet again. 3, 2, 1. Voila. Here we are. TurboTax live. Tax is done. I love you, little kitty cat. Here we go. Let's go back into. This is how you kind of go back into once you've said you've already filed, which I don't ever do through TurboTax, but I do it to help you guys out. That's why I'm here. All right. So let's see here. Again, this has to do with the difference in timing of the backdoor Roth, essentially the contribution. So I'm sure I have this because I've done this before on TurboTax here. Let's see here. I just always go here, hit IRA. Nothing here, okay? Wages and income. Let's do deductions and credits. So let's make sure I did this properly. IRA. There it is. Let's make sure I have this inputted. Here we go. Okay, so yes, I contributed. We'll say no. Let's go through this. How much? Yeah, this is what I did. No. No. Yes. And tracked, right? There we go. So there's that 8606. So this is what has to do with that prior years, right? There it is. Okay, so 8606, okay, deal. So I'm going to go and I'm going to file this return. And I'm going to show you that 8606 and what yours is going to look like next year. So when you do your returns, you kind of know what to look out for. Continue. Okay, well, I'm not going to do this. So other refund options. Oh, come on, just send me a check, paper check. There we go. Continue. Yes, to my BS address, pay by check, continue. Okay, continue. Let me see my return. Here we go. There it is. We want to see the paper version of this thing. Continue. And continue without fixing. All right, so let's take a look at this thing. Download. Here we go. So again, let's take a look at the question that we had. This is our question right here. All right. Contributed last year, but we're converting 2024. Deal. So we want to make sure that we look at the 8606. Oh, come on. Close. I'm close. There it is. Okay, so when this says 2024, what'll happen is if you put the 6,000 in for 2023, it'll be in line 2 here. So you would have 6,000 here for line 2. Okay, and then when you do the conversion, it'll match up with this 6,000. So this is like really what you want to make sure. Again, this is for this comment here, right? And then when you do the 1099-R, for both years. Yeah, so when you do the 1099-R, it'll have, like, let's say you did 6,000 for 2023 and then 6,000 for 2024, right? So you have 12,000 total is what you'll have. This is what your thing will look. It'll be 6,000 here, 6,000 here for a total of 12,000. And then you will have a 12,000 right here is what this will show. So it'll be, we have basis 12,000, so none of it will be taxable. Okay? 12,000, zero taxable. That's what yours is going to look like. All right, on to the next question. Can you do a video? Well, I kind of got to see what this is. That's what I said. Thanks for trying. TurboTax is the worst software. I love it. Let's see here. The amount shown, tax due shown in Turbo increased after I completed the steps in this video. Is that right? No, it should not increase. Unless there's a difference here. I thought the video says that we don't owe extra taxes. Yeah. So essentially what's going on here is that maybe the amount that you put into the traditional is different than the amount that you converted to the Roth. And if that's the case, then yeah, maybe there is an increase in tax. But so long that you're hitting that box that you want it to be non-taxable, non-deductible contribution, then it should not be taxed. So something went off here. Something's going on. And if you're in our chat here, or if you're in our live stream, make sure you do comment here so I can kind of go through this, because I would be willing to, go through this for you. All right, let's see here. What else do we have? Appreciate for the video. I'm planning to do my business myself, taxing myself. Can you please let me know what is the code for physician's assistants? Okay, I got that. So we look at the NAICS. Yes, one more question. If you can address the deductions for medical spa-like mobile business. Medical spa like a mobile business? I'm not quite sure what that is. Okay, like if I purchase medications to perform the services, do I add under business expense or under assets? Medications for the services? Man, I'd have to know what exactly is this? Let's see here. Can you please let me know what the medical aesthetic services, medical aesthetic. A little lost by this. This happens. I'm getting different codes. Physician's assistants providing. I gotta look this up. What exactly is this? This is not something I'm very familiar with, to tell you the truth. So let's take a look. See what we have. What is that? Medical aesthetic is a niche field medical practice that offers various tweakments to improve. I'm assuming it's kind of like a Botox type deal, maybe. But it's not as gentle as a beauty treatment either. Okay. Deal. Well, the thing is, you're a business as a physician's assistant is what you are. And that's what I would use that code for. NAICS is a physician's assistant because that's what you do. Providing medical, yeah. So you're a physician's assistant, though. So I provide, oh, here we are. Yes, awesome. So I provide botulinum toxins for wrinkle release and chemical peels. I am a physician's assistant. Yeah, so physician's assistant was what you do. Yes, like Botox, exactly. Deal. So that's exactly what you do. You do the NAICS code for that. And that's what I would look up. Just Google this. Well, this is what popped up right away. All right, let's just look this up. Physician assistant PA, right? There's got to be a code for this. All other miscellaneous health. I mean, this would probably work right here. Health practitioners, that's what you are. So this is what I would use. Yeah, this looks about right to me. It kind of covers a whole bunch. Here you go. So that's the answer here. This is what I would use. Offices of all other miscellaneous health practitioners. There you go. And then let's see here. This would be, I think, a little bit more down my alley. NAICS codes are not generally. Geez, I guess we do put those on the returns, but it's not my forte here. Here we go. That will be great. Yes, one more question is if you can address the deductions for medical spa-like mobile deducted, like if I purchase medication. This would be like supplies, it sounds like. It's not an asset. This is definitely not an asset because this is something that you're using. Assets are generally like $2,500 or more is really what it is. And that would be for one is really my computer server costs like $3,000. That's an asset. It's like a big purchase. Now you're probably buying a lot at once, but it sounds like these are supplies for things that you're using regularly. These don't have a life to them. Assets generally have a useful life that's more than 1 year. I don't think these things can last for more than 1 year. I don't know. I don't think so. It's not, again, kind of got to look a little further into this, but to me on the surface level, these look all like supplies expense is really what this would be. So I would say direct business expense is what this is. All right, let's keep going here. I appreciate the video. I'm planning, okay, that's the same one. Oh, S-corp, here we go, elected, right? So of course, the tax deadline is in a few weeks. I got confused at the point where you said 40K through payroll, which we are, and use QuickBooks along with our other employees. But when you said 60K through distribution, just do a transfer, right? I make it sound easy. Not always so easy. So I get that, but we didn't take any distributions from profits at all. So yeah, profits sitting in the bank. First question is it okay for not to take any distributions? I mean, it's okay to not take distributions. I would say, why? Why are we doing that? Why would you not use that money? And second, are we still taxing? Yeah, so that's why I'm saying why. Because, yeah, you're taxed on the profits that are sitting in the bank. So if their profits are already taxed, why would you have them sit them in your business bank account? Why wouldn't you actually just use that, right? So there you go. That's the answer to that. Yes, this is so common, man. I get this all the time that people are like, well, it's still sitting in my business bank account. Why am I getting taxed? It's like, because that's not how it works. You get taxed on the profits. You don't get taxed on what you pull out of the business bank account. That's not how it works. So it is okay for it to sit there. That's fine. But just know that you're getting taxed on profits. You're not getting taxed on distributions. Deal. There's that. It won't take me to the option. I'm not quite sure why it won't take you to the option. That's very vague, and I wish I could help with that, but that's like really vague. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you that. Maybe you get to call TurboTax on that one. Forgot to include my 1098 in my tax return. I am not late yet. However, I don't know what to do. This is the first time for it. Oh, well, easy one. I don't know why we said this. We should have just gone to my how to amend. So you should go to, let's just do that, huh? Go to how to amend a tax return, and you would do it that way. And just say that you forgot to. Thank you, step-by-step instruction. And a save video will be very appreciated. So there it is. I mean, it's there. That's what it is. So, I'll just respond to you. How to let's see if we could just quickly find this video, huh? Oh, come on. YouTube. Let's go YouTube. I got to share my video, right? Duh. Ha. All right, let's find my video here. To amend tax return, TurboTax, EA tax. Boom, there I am. Hit this button, and then we hit the share button. And then we hit copy, and then we send it here, reply. Here you go. Boom. On to the next. Let's see here. How could 100% of the business, oh, of course we're getting, all right, how could 100% of the business be done in the home office if most of it occurs while physically out driving? Or in my situation, working on location as a freelance photographer? I was told this has to be a smaller percentage because the office is only used for business admin tasks, photo editing, while the rest takes place outside the office. It could only be 100% if your job strictly takes place in the home office. That's why I asked multiple times to confirm your answer. Well, you kind of have a point there. That's for sure. Yeah, so it's kind of like time is really what you would have to use for an answer like this to do that 100% or not. Time spent on the computer, time spent outside of the computer to do that home office, percentage is really what it comes down to. So, yeah, and this one's got to be a tough one, obviously. Let's see here. I'm so sorry. I got distracted by a comment that came through. So, yeah. So, unfortunately, it's just it's tedious in terms of keeping track of your hours, outside and on the computer is really what it comes down to get that percentage. But it's really as long as you come close is what we're looking for here to get this, when we file the return. So, you know, you can kind of guesstimate, you know, maybe I'm 80% outside, 20% on the computer, and you use that as such on your home office. There you go. You have the right idea. Can you create a video on how to amend using the 1098T as an international student? Okay, you know what? Give me a second. So who know why TurboTax asks? That's hilarious. Let's see here. I'm using H&R Block, but your example on RSU 1099B and the adjustment form was really useful. I'm assuming to ensure I wasn't double taxed. Yeah, awesome. You're welcome. Go Peach. Glad it was helpful. Yeah, it took me a long time last year to make both of those videos on that, and to really like dig deep into where all that stuff's coming from. Oh, well, look at that. Nice. Thank you, DJ. Thanks for the advice, your help. Man, appreciate to be able to help. Thanks for the donation there. I appreciate that, man. Okay, deal. So there we go. Keep on keeping on here. Can you create a video how to amend using the 1098T as an international student? That's interesting. I'm not quite sure. 1098T. Oh, got it. I was going to say, why would they provide a 1098T if you're studying overseas? No, but you're an international student studying here in the U.S. and how to do that. So it depends on how you're filing that return, right? Are we filing the 1040 NR, right, the non-resident 1040, or are we filing as a resident? This has to do with, like, you know, visa issues, I guess, and how you're getting income here in the U.S. Are you earning income as a resident? Are you considered a tax resident for U.S. tax purposes? And then if so, we just do it the normal way. I just got another one. Let's see here. So let's see here. For this answer here, you would have to go like, what would I search? Tax residence, U.S. Let's see here. There you go. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you are considered a non-resident for taxpayer unless you meet one of two tests. Okay, so if you're a green card holder, right, or substantial presence, right? How long have you been in here? And I want to say this is, shoot, what is this? 180, there you go. So you got to go through this, okay? So if you qualify here, then you're a tax resident for tax purposes, and you would fill it out as if you were just a resident. So like, yeah, you're an international student here, but you would be considered a tax resident. You know, you put your income on there, and then you get that 1098. The thing is the 1098, you kind of have to have, man, I'm not sure if you would be able to get a refund if there's no income on the tax return. If we were to do, man, that's got something I'd have to look into. Because I know there's two ways to get a credit for the education. You either get it as a lifetime learning credit or the American Opportunity. American Opportunity is what we call a refundable tax credit. And I know you can actually just get money back. Now, if we have no income at all, can we get money back? That's a good question. And I'd have to look into that. But I mean, can I create a video on how to amend using that? It's like, if you're just, it sounds like, you know what, I didn't even think about this. You probably already filed a resident return. And if you're a resident return, you just amend it as, you know, just adding that 1098 in there is really what it comes down to. Is all you got to do is just add that 1098 when you go to amend. Okay, there's that. I hope that helped, man. I hope that. It's going to be hard for me to make a video on that. Because essentially, man, what do I got to do? Let's just pull that up here. Where's my TurboTax? There it is. There's my TurboTax. And of course, it's signed out. Oh, no. Okay, well, you know what? Give me a second. Let me sign back in here, and I'll show you what's going on. Why am I paying the Fed tax at all? Isn't it voluntary since it was never ratified? I love those comments. Oh, man. Well, unfortunately, I don't deal with tax protesters and those type of things, and I can't speak to that. 582-392. I know how to file tax returns, man. I don't know all the legality behind all that stuff. It's not something I'm going to go down that rabbit hole. I wish we didn't have to pay taxes. That'd be cool. But unfortunately, it's not the world we live in here. Deal. Here we go. Add state. And so, let's see here. Hi, per IRS, yeah, 14.7 allows for certain Medicaid waivers. Yeah, IHSS. So if you filled out a SOC 229, I don't even know what that is. As a live-in provider, you have 0 in box 1 and 2 and can't e-file. Yeah, so the Cosmos. This is something I've actually been getting lately. If you want to force the e-file, you essentially just put like $1 in there. Is really what you do, because you do want to account for Social Security and Medicare taxes paid, which those W-2s do show from like IHSS, right? Those Medicaid waiver. The IHSS is what those are, payments. So I've seen those W-2s. They have zeros up there. I've seen that before, and not getting these things to file. They won't accept an e-file if it's a 0. But because you have Social Security and Medicare payments on there, you want to account for those when you file. So essentially, you get those things to e-file. You just put a 1 in there. It's not going to change the bottom line of your return anyway. So, and it'll go through. So there's your answer to the Cosmos there. Hope that helped, man. Okay, so let's do that. Tax home. Let's do this. So I'm going to answer this question here, right? Can you create a video on how to amend? Here we go. Here's my video. We go here. We go, where's my refund? No, we go to how do I amend? And we use amend using this, okay? Could the dollar discrepancy trigger an audit? No. Why would they audit you for $1 of income? So you're saying you have $1 that wasn't reported on a W-2? There's no way that they would do an audit for $1. Audits, you always have to think about materiality. I used to be a tax auditor. And there's a materiality concept of all this stuff. Like, does it make sense for them to audit you based on the amount of income or tax that they're going to get out of you, right? What's tax on $1? 20%? 20 cents? 30 cents? Doesn't make sense. Okay. Okay, let's just say adding, updating a form. Let's do this. I got a refund date for the 6th, hoping it comes tomorrow. Let's go, Dylan. I hope so as well, man. We always want those refunds to come sooner rather than later, right? Let's see here. So we want to put a 1098-T. Do we even have one of those on here? There it is. Look at that. Which one of these forms do you want to add to your return? Boom. Continue. It's like it was listening to me. Let's get started on your amended federal return. Continue. You can't claim tuition. Okay, so in my case, because of the this bogus return I have, has 180K, 184 to be exact, right? So it's not going to allow me to do this. You just kind of have to go through this, okay? If you really want me to go through this, I can. For the international student, let's do it. Add student. Let's go through this. We'll say it's my wife. Continue. Working on a bachelor. We'll say yes, we are working towards a degree. And we're full-time, yes. And yeah, we got a 1098. Let's do it. Yes, continue. Type it in myself because I don't have one ready for you. Let's say school. 1, 2, 3, Maine. Newport Beach. CA. There it is. Huh. Deal. Keep going. Well, we got to have a federal ID, so it'll be in that 1098 there, right? Boxes. Let's say I paid $4,000. Okay, no adjustments, no scholarship. I mean, you just got to fill this thing out as you see it on your, we'll say at least a half time. Boom. Continue. Enrollment status at least half time. Yes, it was half time. Did Emmy go to school? No, we only went to the one school. That's it. Now let's gather additional expenses. Select books and stuff. Yes, I use distributions for a loan payment. No. Yes. We paid for books. Let's say $250. Okay. Did you take a tax-free? No, I didn't. Okay. Continue. Continue. Did you get scholarships? We'll say no. Didn't get any of those. Earned a 4-year? No, we have not. This is for that tax credit, the American Opportunity Credit. That's what this question's for. Okay, continue. Is this your first year of college? We'll say no. Receive American Opportunity. There it is, right? No, we'll say yes, maybe. Number of years, we'll say 2. Well, continue. This is one of the things we have to ask about, right? Did you have a drug felony drug conviction? No. So if you did, then you can't have this. Okay, that's it. Continue. You can't claim the education tax credit because your income exceeds. But if your income doesn't exceed, you'll get it. Here we go. Do you want to amend any others? No, that's it. And why are you amending? You would just say to a taxpayer is amending return to claim education expenses and tax credit, essentially. Education expenses and continue. That's it. Let's confirm. Boom. There it is. Does anything? No. There you go. These, no, none of these apply. Not in this situation. Looks like we need more info. Update later. Boom. Check my info. Okay, so there you go. That's how you essentially amend the return for the continuum. Let's see what else. Oh gosh, of course, it's going to make me do all this stuff. I'm just saying, no, I don't want to do it, and blah, blah, blah. Continue. What was it saying? Congrats on the refund. Continue. Okay, so you have to do the state as well. Well, you wouldn't really need to amend the state because they don't have the education credit. So I would say no, don't amend the state. Deal, let's go. Preparing error check. All right, well, as this is kind of working over here, if you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the chat box. I will do my best to go over those. If you haven't done so already, use the link in the description below for TurboTax so I get a little chunk of the change. Kind of helps me out. Helps support me do this these videos. Help other people. Okay. Now it's going to want me to connect with it. Okay, I don't want to do that. Cancel amend. I'm just going to cancel this because I don't. Yes, I want to cancel. Okay, continue. Deal. Let's do this. Let's look back at my questions over here. So that's essentially how you do the amended. It's pretty straightforward, though. Go to the amend, like my video shows, and just enter in the 1098 like we just kind of did. It's pretty straightforward, though. Doesn't matter that you're an international student. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Ooh, IRS says 10 years to collect. What did we do? I filed in 11/12. I haven't worked from then. Started a job in 21. Never received anything from the IRS until it was certified mail to pick up from the post office, stating balance due and intent to. Ooh, fun stuff. You definitely have to, call the IRS on something like this. I would call to find out what that CSET is. Ouch, they're coming for you. Yeah, you have a latch-stitch effort there if you don't really want to. If you want to extend this a little bit longer, they have like a 180-day full pay option that potentially can get you past that. I don't know, that date of the CSET date here. So that's maybe something you can check out. All right, well, let's see here. What else do we have left over, man? It's 4:40. I don't have any other questions left to answer. I think we got them all answered here. This is good. And no one's left in my live stream. That's fine. We still do these. What else can I answer here? TurboTax. Thanks for trying to help. But at least you tried to help. I shake my head in disbelief at how incredible and unhelpful TurboTax is, but how popular it is. I will not purchase this trash program again. It's hilarious. I just subscribed. Let's see, what else do we have here? Come on, man. Why is this stuck like this? Deal. Okay, we did that one. We did all these here. Yeah, here we go. Answer that question here. Which transcript shows the AGI? Can I use virtual mailing on this? Oh, here we go. I didn't go over this one. Can I use a virtual mailing address for residents, or will I get audited? I work remote and pay taxes in New York, but I live in Illinois part year. Well, this has to do with residency, okay? The mailing address doesn't matter what's on the tax return. What matters is your residency, Okay, this one is a highly audit. I bet New York highly audits this one. I know California does. I bet they do though as well, New York, because they have high taxes over there, and so does Illinois. Man, both of these guys. So, yeah, this is something we have to look into residency. And residency, like, generally comes down to like, well, where do you see yourself in the foreseeable future living? I work remote and pay taxes in New York, but I live in Illinois part year. So I don't know. I don't know kind of what your residency situation is there, but that's really what you need to look into. Let's see, like New York residency, how to determine, right? Is like really what this is. How to determine. They use this, man, this thing comes about all the time of like, oh, I don't want to pay state taxes. How do I say I'm like a resident of like a different state? Can I just have my address over there? No, because it has like what ties do you have to the state is really what it comes down to. Like bank accounts, professionals, like if you see a doctor, where are you going to see the doctor? Do your kids go to school? Where do they go to school? Do you own property? Things like that, man. You kind of gotta like always look back to like, where's all your mail going to? I guess that's one thing, right? But for banking purposes, where's your mailing address for all banking purposes too? That's something they're going to want to know. Let's see here. Control domicile. There's that word that I was looking for, right? In terms of domicile, residents are often used synonymously. There we go. But for state tax purpose, the two have distinct meanings. In general, your domicile is your permanent and primary residence that you intend to remain in after being away. Residence mean your place of abode. An individual may have several residencies, house, apartments, and live, da, 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 da. However, while you have multiple residencies, you can only have one domicile. An individual may live in a certain residence for a temporary time period, which could be an extended period of time, but it is not the place they ultimately attach themselves to and intend to return to. It's still not their domicile. So this is like, to answer that question, this is like a tough question, right? I work remote, right? Where is my residency, like tax residency or your domicile, right? Does not, your New York domicile does not change until you can demonstrate with clear and convincing evidence that you have abandoned your New York domicile and established a new domicile outside of New York State. This means shifting the focus of your life to a new location. It is not simply to file a certificate of domicile or register to vote in a new location. So register to vote is another one, right? All aspects of a person's life are considered in that. So can I be a resident in New York State if my domicile is elsewhere? You may be subject to tax as a resident even if your domicile is not New York. But then maybe we get like the foreign other state tax credit is what California calls it. I bet Illinois and New York have the same thing. If you are a state tax resident, your domicile is New York State, or, right? So I would go through this essentially, to kind of see what your residency is. Hi, my mortgage started June of 23. Can I get the tax credit? Yes, you can definitely do that for sure. Put that in there, man. Yeah, put it in your TurboTax. You probably won't get the itemized deductions with the feds, but you might get it with the state depending upon what state you're in. So for sure, put that in. Property taxes, put it in. The licensing fee for DMV registration, your charity, throw all that stuff into TurboTax. And potentially, maybe not with the feds, but with the state, you'll get some type of deductions, okay? So that's generally what we see, okay? Especially when we're mid-year buy a house. Let's see here. What else do I have? What if box 1 is 0? Put a 1 in box 1. You'll be fine. It'll go through. Gambling. Let's see here. How do I my status of the refund? Yep, there's a refund. How to, that's for Dylan, right? Where's your refund stuff? Thank you for your video. I'm delegating tax in an account for 22. And in case I want to file a amended return for 22 using, can you make a video for people like me? This is great. Okay, so yes, let's do this. Let's look into how do I amend Man, that's a good question. I'm not quite sure what we do here. Let's see. Amending is for adding, right? We know that. Amend using TurboTax Online. Can you amend using TurboTax Online when the original was not filed through TurboTax? Ah, here we go. There's your answer right here, man. Let's do it. Ah, yeah, it definitely can be hard and tricky because you have to match the original return. Ideally, let's see here. For prior years, you have to buy the desktop program. You can only buy the download for prior years. You have to buy a separate program for each year. They only sell the last 3 years. You need a full to install it on. Download it here. Deal. Man, this is really what you would have to do here. Control C. Let's do that. Great idea. Well, unfortunately, we can't do that. You cannot download the desktop. There you go. Boom. Done. There you go. Reply. Can I use these steps for fix and flip housing? Oh, this is a good question, actually. How did I miss these? This is a great question. Can I use these steps for fix and flip housing expenses? Yeah. Now there is, let's see, flip. I just went through this. Home, schedule C. Come on. Oh, here we go. These are some good articles here. Rolling, flipping home, tax deductions. What is a publication? Okay, there's like a thing on this. Yeah, house flipping is obviously a costly business with new. Unfortunately, most of the home flipping are not immediately. Yada yada yada. Rolling, trying to avoid taxes. Let's see here. Right. So, the price. What is the rule on this? There are even more favorable rules if the property qualifies as a principal. Blah blah blah. Deal. So there you go. We would have to be dealers, real estate dealers for tax purposes, right? Let's see what this article shows us. I've seen this. I've seen this regardless, though. So this should work. Not should work. This is allowed, essentially. You can do this self-employment for fix and flip housing if this is essentially your business. Like this is what you do for a living, not just like you do something like 1 or 2 of these on the side. If you're doing this like as a side business once or twice a year, maybe, then this would be on a Schedule D. It would not be this tutorial that I kind of show here. Be Schedule D, like a capital gain loss is the way that would work. And for that, it would be like more of like a stock type deal. But if this is like your main gig and this is like your bread and butter, then yeah, you would use, I mean, essentially this tutorial to do the fix and flip is really what it comes down to. So there's that. Deal, what else we have here? If we exercise stock options, is this the same fix for as ESPP? Can you do a more detailed video, detailed info on exercising options? It depends what kind of options we're exercising is really what this comes down to. Employer sold some stock from the options to pay for the stock. Then we sold the remaining exercised options to cash in. How taxes are correctly reported. mean, it sounds kind of like what this video is going to go over, to tell you the truth. Just exercising the options, though, potentially does like an AMT deal. Man, if I can remember correctly, it's for ISOs, not the SPPRRCUs. So that would be a separate video. That's right. But there should be some videos out there for that. Let's see here. It seems like you can only go 5 years back. I need tax stuff from 2009. My tax guy is in jail. Ha! Oh, no. Okay, so the way you get tax returns from previous years, if you want the actual returns, you go to the 4506, I believe is what it is. Request a copy. So this is what I'm just going to tag this in here. Reply. Boom. Okay, so you fill this thing out here. Request a copy of the return. Yeah, I mean, some basic stuff. Name shown on the tax return. The address, your current address, the previous address that was on that return. There's that. And then it's generally 1040, that's for the individual return. That's what you would put there. If the copies must be certified, I guess check that box. But then the years you need. So it would be December 31st of, let's say, 2006 you want. Or 12/31 of 2008, right? Whatever tax years you need, right? That's how you do it, essentially 12/31 and then the year that you're looking for. They charge $30 per one you use, so you got to fill that out, right? Cost of each return is $30. Multiply the number of returns. So let's say in this instance there's 2, so $60, man. So you got to pay. If we cannot, no, we probably should go with it. No, and then boom, there you go. Put your number there. Sign a date and send this back, and you would essentially mail these to, depending upon what state you're in, right? Here or here, depending, again, what state you're in. Can we fax these? No. Chart for individuals. For returns not in 1040, oh, so these are the ones you're using. Sorry, you're using these addresses for the 1040. These are individual tax returns. Again, probably what you're looking for. I mean, generally, it's what people look for. But yeah, you mail them here. Looks like we can't fax these, so there you go. That's how you do that. Pretty simple, straightforward. There you go. I'm just going to send you this link. How about that? Reply. Boom. I'm a CFP. I helped you out. I have desktop TurboTax home and business version. When you enter mileage deduction, is not deducting, reducing my tax liability. Anyone has this problem? I have a regular job and work gig as a side job. When you enter mileage deduction, is not deduct. So what I would say for this one here is you got to look at the actual return once you go to see and see what's going on with that. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. TurboTax is a little wonky, that's for sure. So I'm not quite sure what's going on. I have this video, which I think would be really helpful for you. YouTube.com. Let's look it up. It's called Most Important Button TurboTax. And I know this video has like no views, but I swear it's so good. This one right here, man. Open a new thing. Here we go. This is like an older video that I have, but essentially at the end of it, view forms, right? That's what you want to do, man. You need to go to this. Why is it? What's going on? YouTube. Let's see here. Most important button. This is like a really good video, actually. That has no views because no one searches this. But that's okay. Share. Copy. And I'm going to go here. I'm just going to put this in here, right? I'm going to say, be sure to look at what is happening on Schedule C line. What is that? Schedule C. Let's just look at a Schedule C. See what these things look like here. Schedule C. Come on, I want the actual form. Here it is, maybe, hopefully. Yay, Schedule C line, what is that? 9, there it is, line 9. And we want to look at the 1040, right? 1040, or Schedule 1, Schedule 1. Schedule 1 line. Well, it's not like that. 1 line. Let's see, what line is that? It is the 3. 3 and Form 1040 line. Let's look at the 1040. Where does that go? I'm going to guess 12. Come on, where's the form? There it is. No, 12 is close. Line 8. Use this video on how to download the forms and check the above lines. Okay, let's see what's going on. What else is going on in the world of comment sections for e-tax? Can you clarify the 30% federal tax rule? If it is, let's see here. If I am the only shareholder of my company, I invested my personal cash in S-corp. Should I enter under liabilities, loans from shareholders? No. If you invested, this would be a contribution to the business. So potentially this would be like, this should be an equity, like additional paid-in capital is what this would be. So this would not be a liability. This would be an equity account. It's your equity in the business, right? There you go. Curious M. Gotcha. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, can you please clarify the 30% federal tax credit if it is the total value of the net installation cost or minus renewable energy credit? Renewable energy credit. For example, if it is an installation cost without any inside of it, it's $30K, and then you get the credit of $15K. Is 30% calculated on 30 or the 15? I'm assuming it's on the 15. I wonder what that renewable energy credit is that you're talking about. The Cosmos. What are the main things to do when mailing in a return? Certified, so the Cosmos, when you mail in a return, you want a certified mail with a return receipt. That is like super important. You want a return receipt because not only do you want to track this thing, but you also want like that stamp of approval from the IRS that they did receive it. If you don't have the return receipt, then they'd be like, oh, well, we never got it. Do you have proof? No, you don't have proof. You just have a tracking that it went there. And they're like, oh, that's not proof that we got it. So you need that return receipt. Certified mail with return receipt. It's like a green little thing the post office gives you. And they stamp it and then they mail it back to you and then you have that copy. There you go. I got to look up what this renewable energy credit is. What is that? I'm assuming from the state. What state is this? Residential clean energy credit. Well, we know that. It's like I'm confused. What's the question? Can you clarify? So if this is the credit that we're talking about, the 30%, the 30% is this credit. So the 30% is based on the total that you pay for the system, the 30K. So in this instance, it would be the 30K that you're getting, that you would enter to get the 30% of. 30K is based on the 30%, not the 15. Federal tax credit, for the federal tax credit. Now, if there's a state tax credit, I'm just not aware of that. So I'm not so sure. My daycare also uses part of the backyard. Would the total square footage I use also include the backyard? And if so, then for the total square footage of the house, I'm assuming it would include the lot. Oh, yeah, there we go. Otherwise, if I include the backyard for the portion the business uses, but not the total square footage of the home, then line 1 would be more than, right, exactly. In other words, does the total home equal square footage equal lot square footage? Yes, that's exactly what it is. So like, if for daycare purposes, we would have to use the total square footage of the home, which might be more than the lot, right? So it's not exactly the lot size in this case. Because if you have 2 stories, right, the square footage of the home might be more than just what the lot is. So it depends, right? If it's a single story, then yes, you have the right idea. It would be the lot square footage. But if it's like a 2-story home, you would add, I mean, because you don't use the front, let's see here. You don't use the front yard or driveway as part of this calculation. So it generally wouldn't be like the lot size. What I would do, if I were to do a return like this, I'd get the square footage of the home plus the square footage of the backyard as a total, and then I would just get the square footage of the home that you use for daycare plus the square footage of the backyard, and that is how I would get my calculation. That's how I would do this. All right, well, that's it. 5 o'clock, we're done. Let's see, do I have any other ones that I said I'd go over? Oh, how do you have a video for the lender? Or is it basically the same? We are taxes this year and sold a home and financed the people. So I mean, it is the same essentially. I don't have a video on how to fill this thing out. No, it's pretty straightforward though. The form is like almost as straightforward as it gets. You just put like, the outstanding balance for the beginning of the year, the date of the mortgage origination, and you're going to put the address of this thing, and then the total amount of mortgage interest that they paid you. Essentially, is what you do. Send it out to them. Fun one. What else do we have? I have a single member. Oh, I already went over that one. Okay, deal. Let's see here. Wait, I thought a tax credit was a dollar for dollar tax bill reduction. Isn't a deduction when you reduce taxable income? Yes. Yes, that's true. That's what is confusing me. I think there's a lot of bad information online. I just read an article explaining how a child is an actual tax credit, like the actual child tax credit. But according to this video, it's a tax deduction, not tax. I don't believe I said that. Maybe I did. If I did, I was wrong. There's no way I would say something like that, though. Maybe you just misinterpreted that. No, because it is a credit. That's what I put on here. Child Dependent Care Tax Credit. It's a credit. It's dollar for dollar, like you're saying. I was very confused when I saw the FSA money reduces the tax credit eligibility. Well, that makes kind of sense that why they would do it when I was just doing my tax. And it didn't make sense because if the child tax credit is a tax credit, then it would never make sense for the FSA. Well, it does kind of make sense sometimes because there's a max to it. Option because I'm not quite sure where the question is here. I think you have to watch the video again to kind of understand what's going on. There might be a little misunderstanding of what's going on here because I actually go over in the video where it makes more sense to do an FSA. And it's essentially when you pay, because there's a max that is eligible for the dependent care credit. Okay, so there's the rules around it, which essentially is why sometimes it makes more sense to do an FSA. Essentially, high tax bracket and you pay a lot for childcare is when it makes sense to do an FSA. All right, well, I think that's it. I think that's all my questions answered. I hope the video was helpful for anyone who joined this thing here. If it was, like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff. And let's see here. If you haven't done so already, please use the link in the description for TurboTax. I get a little chunk of the change when you go to buy this thing. If you have any recommendations on anything else, on any videos I've done before, examples you want me to show, be sure to include that in the in the comment section. If you need some help, just let me know. Let me know in the comment section somewhere. I'll try and help you out. That's what I do. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. You guys take care. Have a good night. Bye.